it's still completely free to apply. And if you're selected, it's still obviously going to be free. So that process does not change. We'll have a selection process where we're curating the best companies for the conference. So we're likely going to pick 40 to 50 companies to pitch on stage. So that's the biggest we've ever had. So bigger opportunity for you guys. And then we're also going to pick as many great companies as we want to put in our startup showcase. So in the past, we've been limited on timing, we've been limited on the footprint of our space with how many companies we want in the showcase. We're not limited this year. We're going to be using a video platform where we can create a virtual showcase, and you can go around on your computer and click on the different companies, to participate. So I'll share a little bit more about that. So, we're going to be looking for companies in all stages of growth. So seed stage companies could be pre-revenue, early stage, venture stage, growth stage. Companies raising $500,000 to $30 million. So, again, it's definitely going to be across the gamut. So none of that. We're going to be looking for companies that pitch on stage, and those are really going to be more of your early stage companies and your growth stage companies. And the companies that we'd be looking for in our showcase are really those younger companies, guys. They're really more seed stage, pre-revenue companies that we want to put on the map, that we want investors to learn about. And just like in the past, the conference is going to be open outside of Georgia. So last year we had companies from South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Texas, Tennessee, Maryland. So that has not changed. Our footprint is still the greater Southeast. So kind of picture Texas up to Maryland. And that has not changed. What's going to change this year is the audience. So think about the fact that in the past, we've had maybe one investor from a fund in California that comes to the conference. Maybe they wanted to meet with a couple companies. They go to the meetings. They don't make half the pitches because they're meeting with different people. And only one investor from that fund got a glimpse of Enter Atlanta. Well, think about how that can change this year, having the videos report, the videos. So company X does their pitch. Then that pitch is recorded. It's then put on our video platform that can be accessible for up to a year. So we're going to be selling all access passes to our attendees, but they're going to be able to go into these platforms and look at your executive summary and look at content for up to a year. And the goal is also that you can update that content. Obviously, we know you don't want stale information up there. So that, the goal is that we continue to engage with people throughout the year and have Venture Atlanta really live year round. So we may be doing monthly things, we may be doing quarterly things. So again, it's a lot of opportunities. So back to that investor example. So the investor from that one fund goes, oh, you know what, now that I'm not having to fly to Atlanta and pay for a hotel and airfare and everything like that, well, now 4 of us in the fund can participate in Venture Atlanta. One of the guys is looking at healthcare. One of the partners is interested in fintech. Someone's interested in cyber. Someone's interested in mobile. So they can all participate in the conference. Well, let's say they want to, they watch the companies, but maybe they had, a scheduled one-on-one meeting with some companies, and they went and took those meetings during the conference. Well, they can then later on go back and watch the other pitches. So again, in the past, if someone missed your pitch, they missed your pitch, right? We gave you a copy of your pitch afterwards. People would put it on YouTube, or perhaps people would send it out, but you had to make that effort to send it out. Now, the investors could go, oh, I really wanted to walk around the showcase. So if they don't do that during the conference, they could do it the next day. They could do it, a month later. So it really just depends on what the investors want to do. So the companies will actually pitch live on a stage. So it's going to be a setup. It's going to feel like Venture Atlanta. You're going to have your pitch deck on a monitor right next to you. You're going to be talking about your pitch deck. So when I'm watching the conference, I'm going to see Wallace, and then I'm going to see Wallace's, pitch deck. So I'm going to see both of those things. I'm going to be watching. I could take notes on the platform. I could be, messaging some of my partners that, hey, we're really interested in this company, and you'll still be getting your time on stage, right? So, we are not going to be doing where we're pre-recording all these pitches and we're just sending the link out to our folks. So you're going to be up there. There's going to be energy that's going to be engaging. It's going to, it's going to feel like Venture Atlanta. You're just not going to be pitching to 800 people. So, we are hoping there's going to be, somewhat of a studio audience that's there. There's going to be a host. There's going to be someone engaging with those, in the crowd. So the live presentations are going to work like that. As far as the showcase, the showcase has been something that for the last 3 years, every year I'm like, God, I gotta make this better. I gotta make this better. So the companies have always gotten marketing support. They've always been on our website. They've always gotten information in our conference book. And then during the cocktail party, they always had a booth set up. Well, last year our cocktail party was pretty huge. And what happened was it was loud. And the investors weren't necessarily walking around, because people were getting, really crowded. So, I have this wonderful plan to change the showcase this year. So you know what? Instead of changing it the way I was going to in person, we'll flip it on its head and make it a virtual trade show booth. So picture being on a website, on a video platform, and being able to go booth to booth to see what's happened. So in the past, we've never had showcase companies do any kind of pitch, right? You guys have never, been on the stage. We've never released any video. Well, now you guys will be able to, we'll probably set a limit on what we want you to do. It's probably going to be a minute, like a minute elevator pitch on here's who we are, here's what we do. You'll still be able to have, a paragraph or a description about your company. And then, if there's a couple slides you want there, you can probably have that. So if someone clicks on your booth and they look at it, they then can connect with you. So it can then link, connect with the founder or whatever, and then you guys could schedule a Zoom meeting or a phone call or, a meeting at some point. So for us, our goal is to still facilitate and help match companies with capital, right? That's our whole mission. So we are looking at, every avenue, every aspect to connect companies with capital and to set up those one-on-one meetings. So, in the past, again, the showcase companies have never gotten that much, of support, looking at the pitches. So obviously during the conference, you could walk around the trade show booth. Well, if you buy this quote, all access pass to the conference, you could go back through that showcase 30 times, 40 times if you want. So the eyes are going to be that much more multiplied on your company. So, definitely once we open Q&A, would love to hear, some feedback for you guys on that. We're still going to be doing our conference book that we've done. It's always been a fan favorite. I can tell you all, if someone leaves their conference book at the conference, I've had to mail them. I have to send digital copies. I mean, the investors do not leave without that book. They will have it digitally or they would have a hard copy of it. So that's not going away. So you'll still have information in that book. And again, just because it's virtual, we're expecting our largest audience ever, quite honestly. I mean, think about there's funds that for years we've been talking to and they're like, yeah, maybe I'll come out to Atlanta. Well, it's a little bit easier to get them to buy a ticket, which is going to, be significantly less than they generally would have paid to come to Atlanta. They're not buying the hotel room, they're not doing the airline, they're not paying for Uber, they're not paying for the food or for different things like that. They're just buying a ticket. But they're buying a ticket that's going to get them access to companies for a long time to come.